some hours ago, would have approved Rudolph Speid as the technical advisor to our technical program, which means that he will be with the team, he will be in the locker room, he'll travel around with the team, he will advise the coach, they will work closely together.
Trapped by old tactics and politics, can Jamaica emancipate itself before World Cup 2026? Join Premier 7 right now for the big chat.
You're borrowing a few things from it.
When me borrow?
Such as your...
Me my own clothes, me everything.
Your...
Alright, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. This was selected from a song by our legend in a Bob Marley. And I mean, if you wanted to carry on with the song, then I mean, you have the freedom to do so. Greetings and welcome to Premier 7. I am your host, Ryan Nelson, coming to you with a video on today's date, August the 1st, Emancipation Day in Jamaica, but in specification to the current state of the Jamaica men's national team. Do you think that the Jamaica men's national team needs an Emancipation Day? Well, within this video, you will decide from that point. I mean, the topic today speaks directly about trapped by old tactics and politics. Can Jamaica emancipate itself before World Cup 2026? Within this, I am going to speak about the ghost town as the potential players that we wanted to be recruited. Nothing has been said about them. A flashback on Speid's appointment. Also, lack of vision and mental blocks. And further on, upcoming Caribbean fixtures and World Cup risk. And then I will conclude. Now, people, before I dive into the video, I want to say that if you're new to Premier 7, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you are already a subscriber, then you know what to do. The golden purpose of this video is to talk about the Jamaica men's national team, because World Cup qualifiers is in September, and from the time the team has break, nothing really speaks directly about the incomings of players. What about the Lewis Bakers? What about the Mason Greenwood? I mean, we have heard news about Mason Greenwood, and was that news something that would revolutionize the national team? Well, I doubt that. But we have recruited some players before the break, but nothing has been done. And for me personally, I think that it is an issue for the national team because, I mean, can we make it to the World Cup? Will our tactics change? We are tired of the whole story. So despite the talks of the players in the diaspora, like even the Max Aarons, you know, nothing really and truly has been popping up into the Jamaica space other than players being transferred to clubs in the championship. And that looks good. However, I am concerned as to whether or not our team will be making any rooms. I think it will be too late to some extent to recruit players, but if we can even get one before September and get a camp running before qualification starts, it will be amazing for the team. Based on the players who can represent the country, thus having these players that we have some issues with based on the previous reflection of the Gold Cup where Jamaica was being embarrassed, don't you dare believe that Jamaica will have that big opportunity to dominate in the qualification stage for the World Cup. And I mean, I think a lot of Jamaican players locally and abroad potentially are who have been representing the country. Those players could have even been moving more than the amount that we currently have. But I mean, there has been nothing solid enough to say what is the plan for the Jamaica men's national team going forward. And speaking about plans, let me just reflect on the appointment of Rudolph Speid, specifically in relation to the support issued by McLaren. This is something that I think is somewhat controversial, but anyhow, we know already that Reggae Boyz head coach welcomes new technical advisor in Rudolph Speid. So the news is saying that Reggae Boyz head coach Steve McLaren has publicly supported the appointment of Rudolph Speid as technical advisor for the men's national team for the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying campaign. Will it only last for that short term? Well, let's see. So, in a press release sent by the Jamaica Football Federation (JFF) on Wednesday, McLaren threw his support behind Speed's new appointment role and believes he will be a great addition for the World Cup ambition. McLaren said he believes Speed will bring a wealth of regional experience that will prove crucial throughout Jamaica's journey in the final rounds of qualification. From my very first interaction with Rudolph, I recognize the depth of his football intellect and regional experience, McLaren said. His accomplishment in Jamaica and across the Caribbean speaks for themselves as we prepare to face Caribbean opposition in the next qualification window. I am certain that his perspective will be a valuable asset to the coaching team. Now, the key thing that was being recognized in the paper was that of Rudolph Speid having the experience within the region. In a way, that is a good thing because we're going to play against Caribbean opponents. But what about outside of that? It is not a possibility that Jamaica will make the World Cup. And isn't this a conflict of interest? I don't even want to touch down into that part. However, whenever you want for the best to take place in regards to making your team better, you have to go for the best. And I think this was a financial strategy that was being used by the Jamaica Football Federation to appoint Rudolph Speid, seeing that they don't want to spend any money in getting somebody better. I don't think it would have been a big issue if Rudolph Speid was somewhat assisting with recruiting players, elsewise getting persons to help Rudolph Speid, not Rudolph Speid, but Coach McLaren. But I think that it is somewhat of a tactical approach that I don't think is best for the national team. However, as I've mentioned before, strategically it is a pro for the Jamaica football team because we're going to play against opposition in the Caribbean, but a cons, whereas critics is already out there that this wasn't the best thing because he was there as the person who even aided in recruiting a Steve McLaren. So I think it is somewhat undermining the importance of the coach and also to get Jamaica to the position of being front foot runners into the World Cup before having that doubt in mind that, oh, will Jamaica make it to the national? Will Jamaica make it to the FIFA World Cup? And from that, I would believe that this could roll over into a lack of vision and mental block for the Jamaica football team and even for the fan base, because the bigger issue is that we already have an issue on the pitch. We're not performing consistently. We are not seen as a top team in CONCACAF. And in that case, we will be underdogs if we should even touch higher stage in football. So, I mean, for years, if you never know, Jamaica football has been in a recycling mode, changing or making reforms. And we realize that it has never been a smooth sailing operations in the federation. And youth development, overseas recruitment, and modern tactical flexibility are in that pipeline to be reset, for which it should have been reshaped. But with the appointment of a Rudolph Speid and with what has been taking place in the past, then many persons would say then this is a political thing, it is corruptive, it is corruption. And in that case of the mental block, there's a fear for new ideas because maybe Coach Steve McLaren wanted somebody overseas who have a better understanding of football, not only from a England-based perspective, but on a worldwide base, whereas it includes Jamaican footballers. Remember, some of our players are England-based, so would these players really actually want to be in a room with Rudolph Speid without feeling that feeling of being undermined? Because the coach is England-based, Rudolph Speid is Jamaican-based, but he was the person who aided in recruiting a coach McLaren. So I think a new face would have been better to help a Steve McLaren. But I mean, in that case now, I think it will somewhat lead to an hesitation, whereas the recruitment of foreign-based talent would be of concern, because I think Coach McLaren was doing a good job to get in some players from overseas, and now he doesn't have so much help. It will be something that will cause things to be waiting a bit longer. All right, and in that case now, we would have to be playing catch up. All right, now upcoming Caribbean fixtures and World Cup risk. Now we can understand that Jamaica will face Bermuda, Curacao, and Trinidad and Tobago, and for a short term, that could be the reason why Rudolph Speid could be a technical advisor. But what about the long term? This should not be a short term plan, but we don't know if it will work or it will work, because then again, when persons understand that, for example, this person is not higher in profile than this person, then it could be a boost in terms of confidence for the opposition who is going to play against Jamaica. So, I mean, it is the final round that we have to surpass to book our spot into the World Cup. And we're hoping then that there will be no level of complacency. So if Jamaica should push through the qualification stage for the World Cup, it has to be convincing. But a win is just a win, but conviction would give us that impression that if we go into the World Cup, then we can have this chance to play some better football, because elite teams in the CONCACAF region swings besides or amongst Canada, Mexico, USA, and even Panama, right? And I mean, it will not be an easy for Jamaica to adapt with some of our local players in the national team. But if Rudolph Speid is going to have a big impact in terms of tactical or technical advice in the coach, will it complicate the tactics? Whereas the England-based players are used to this compared to what Rudolph Speid is used to, and that is the big concern. So people, I mean, we have to emancipate ourselves, but will it happen before, or will it happen in a way that we never expect? So, I mean, the topic of importance speaks about shocked by old tactics and politics. Can Jamaica emancipate before World Cup 26? The doubt is there. However, we have players who can perform, but they're not hitting the grounds running, and we have some that we wanted, but they're not here, and a lot of things. There's still chaos to me in the Reggae Boyz camp, but I don't want to get too much in that position to even talk much on it, because I mean, the fan base is already stressed. So we want to ensure though that the right things are being talked about and how we can go about in helping Jamaica to become better. So people, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you think Jamaica will be going to the World Cup with the help of a Rudolph Speid as technical advisor, or do you think we need more? It is for you to have your say. Goodbye until we meet again.